Open quote. Well, that is bullshit. Stop blaming other races and immigrants for your problems. It's class and capitalism that is the reason you're homeless. You keep blaming the wrong thing for your problems. Close quote.
And instead of getting anything in return, instead of having any inheritance, all my inheritance has been stolen and is given away to non-white people. And this is no dig at non-white people. They're just coming here for a better opportunity. They just come here because they get given free stuff. They get all my inheritance. They don't understand. They probably don't even realise that they're getting my inheritance. So it's not a dig at them. It's a dig at the anti-white system, the anti-white politicians who have opened our border and promote this anti-white attack. White erasure. The corrupt anti-white system in charge, not any individual non-white person, is responsible. Okay? Let's make that caveat very clear.
You clearly didn't even watch the video. They probably did, but giving them the benefit of the doubt, clearly didn't even watch the video because no one is blaming any race or any immigrant. It was even pointed out that such things are not the problem or cause, that only anti-whitism is to blame. I'm homeless because anti-whites stole my home and gave it to a non-white immigrant. That doesn't mean you should blame non-whites or immigrants, though, as that is just ridiculous. Anti-whites are the ones that stole my home, not non-whites or immigrants. So you blame the thief, not the person who receives stolen property unaware that it's stolen property. They don't even know. They think they've just been given a home. They don't know that it's my home that was stolen from me. So how could you blame them? That's ridiculous. Obviously, you don't blame the non-whites. You don't blame the immigrants who have my stolen home or your stolen home, your stolen wealth and potential as a member of Western kind. No, you blame the anti-whites. You blame the anti-white government, the corrupt anti-white politicians, the anti-white policies that they put into place through Parliament, enacted in the law, in our states, in this federation, this commonwealth, right? Top down, the people who have the power that make the decisions, those who are actually responsible, they're mostly white folk, anti-whites who are white. Most of them are white anti-whites, actually, to be specific. The vast majority of people responsible for anti-whitism are white folk. Look at the majority of our politicians for the past, 60 years? They haven't been non-whites, they haven't been immigrants, have they? No. The politicians in Australia for the past 60 years, they've mostly been white folk. And they're to blame for the anti-whitism, the attacks on the white race. Not the non-whites, not the immigrants. It's predominantly white politicians who are anti-white, who hate themselves because they're white, and they hate the race because we're white. They hate whites. They hate themselves. So they undermine white race and have destroyed their own nation and given it away to foreign races because they hate themselves, because they hate whites, because they're anti-white. That's the biggest group of people who are responsible for the issues, the reason why I'm homeless. They're the anti-whites who stole my home and gave it to non-white immigrants. So, this is a perfect example of how anti-whites will try to jump in and smear and slander you as a baddie in the anti-white narrative. Okay? Open quote. Stop blaming other races and immigrants for your problems. Close quote. So, with everything I've just gone over and said, that was a reiteration of what was said in the video that this comment was made on. So what's that? Is that a genuine response? Is that someone genuinely saying, like, they watched and heard what I just said, what I just explained, okay? That you don't blame the non-whites, you don't blame the immigrants, they're not responsible. You blame the anti-white politicians, most of them are white, who stole all of our wealth, the wealth of the citizens, the Australian citizens, the whole population, alright? All 20-something million of us. and then have given it to these new millions and millions of new immigrants who have come into the country. And they've kept most of it for himself, obviously. So they rob us for everything. Okay? That's why 40, 50 years ago you could buy a house for 20 grand. That same house that was 20 grand back then is now $1 million. Why? Because that's how much we've been robbed. All the Australian citizens together, we've been robbed that much that now 20 grand, something that's 20 grand, is now, it costs us $1 million. A house that should be 20 grand is now $1 million fucking dollars. That's how much we've been robbed. Okay? A pack of cigarettes used to cost less than $1. Literally. When my mum went to primary school, she could take 20 cents. She could get herself lunch, lollies, a bottle of Coke, and still have money left over for a snack on the way home with a 20-cent coin. Why? Why can't we do that now? Why can't, if you got 20 cents, do you think you can get yourself a pack of lollies, a pack of chips, a bottle of Coke, and then still have money left over with your 20 cents? No, you can't, obviously. Maybe if you have 20 bucks, you might have some money left over. And why is that? Because the anti-white government has robbed us, every citizen of this country. They kept most of it for themselves, fly around in their private jets, eating $100 fucking burgers, living in mansions, right? And then what was left over, they gave to the non-white immigrants. Clearly, you do not blame that immigrant who's living in my home. You blame the anti-white politicians and scumbags who are the ones who are responsible, who have stolen the wealth from the Australian people. So again, you clearly don't blame the immigrants, you don't blame any other races of people. All human beings, all races, we all need to work together against these sickos, these psycho motherfuckers who want to rule over us and enslave all of humanity. Every race, we need to work together to put an end to these anti-whites. Because they will destroy the world and they will make life a lot worse for everyone. So we all need to work together. This isn't any race against any race or anything like that. This is all races working together to put an end to anti-whitism, anti-whites. Like the politicians, again, who are most of them are white folk. So it's all races coming together to take out and stop the anti-white bastards who are trying to enslave everyone and mix everyone into one human race, one slave race. Again, they don't want, if you're Aboriginal, they don't want you to have your culture. They want immigrants to come in and take your land. If you're a white Australian, they don't want you to have your culture. They want immigrants to come in and take your land and everything you've built. And they'll use any excuse, alright? Any talking point to try to justify it and try to promote it. So, a great example here, folks. You don't blame non-whites. We're all races or people are working, good people of all races, working together to stop this tyranny and this evil, right? And protect all races, all children of all races together. We're all working together, good folk, to stop anti-whitism. And that's why anti-whites try to come out with these slanders and these attacks and make out like we're attacking other, or we're opposed to other races, or we're blaming the immigrants, etc. Because then we won't work together and they can enslave the immigrants. See, this is what the anti-whites want. If we work together, the immigrants work together with the native population, and we put an end to the anti-whitism, make our lives better for everyone, right? Make the country better for everyone. We can all we can bring the economy back to what it was. Houses can be 20 grand again for everyone. Nobody has to be homeless then. And we can keep the immigrants who are here. They can stay. Nobody has to be kicked out. Nothing. All right? We can all work together and we can make things better for everyone. But the anti-whites don't want that, obviously. They want to destroy the white race, destroy the Aboriginal race, mix the rest of the immigrants together as a slave race and then make them slave workers with no rights. Okay? So in order for them to achieve that, they have to try to pit us against each other. They have to make they have to make us suspect on each other. They have to make us think that we're opposed against each other. That because I'm a white man and I'm a proud white man, that I don't like the non-whites. So let's create suspicion and slander and pit people against each other based on their race, create racial conflict, all right? So that we can't work together as humanity and put an end to this evil. Pretty straightforward. So it's quite obvious when any anti-white comes out like this and says, stop blaming other races and immigrants. What is it? Is it a genuine response? No, because they obviously know we make it quite clear not to blame immigrants or any other races. You only blame the anti-whites. We're going to repeat this non-stop. Alright? So obviously this isn't genuine. What is it? It's an attack on the basis of my race. This is an anti-white attacking me for being a white man. In a way which tries to stir up racial division and racial conflict between all races within the nation. It tries to get the non-whites to fight the whites and the whites to fight the non-whites and this race to fight that race. Right? So a disingenuous attack on me on the basis of my race, which is trying to promote and stir up racial division and hatred amongst different races of people in our nation, so that we don't work together, so that these anti-white scumbags can enslave us all. Quite clear, quite evident. Thanks, anti-whites, for being so fucking dumb, alright? And you just keep coming at me with your nonsense and your attacks. Keep proving me right. Keep proving me more and more correct. Cheers. Take it easy, folks.